They're back. It's medicinal.
Hello, welcome back. It's medicinal. We're back again. It's been ages and ages and ages. I know, but the good thing is you've still got Jules, and you've still got Harvey, and got me as well, I suppose. So there's that. But there's been changes, and we've been doing all kinds of funky stuff since the last video. I think maybe we should start with Harvey, because Harvey's gone tech, and he's using a CGM. Is that the case, Harvey?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I've gone on to Libra, whatever you want to call it, Libra 2. I wear it in a weird place apparently, but it suits me quite well. It hurts when you put it in there, though. I will warn you. So if you decide that you're going to do it, it's painful, but you get over it. But yeah, it's obviously I was super resistant to the tech stuff because very much dubious that anything in terms of tech was advanced enough that it would work consistently and actually help me in my life and not be yet another barrier to deal with and have to just struggle through. But it's absolutely not. It's like a CGM is a game changer, and it's real simple to deal with, and it's nice to not have to constantly finger prick. That's brilliant. Like, so yeah, absolutely love that. Yeah, it's great. I know you guys obviously have been on them a lot longer than I have, so you'll probably have, like, you know, more of an idea of how they work and stuff, but I just scan and go. It's easy peasy and I love it.
Yeah.
Have you noticed your numbers improving or your time in target, things like that?
Here it's hit and miss, because I got the Libra and I was at a different job, and then it started to improve my numbers. Then I left that job and my numbers got worse because obviously you're changing your lifestyle pattern, you're effectively changing what you do, and it's not something you would ever consider, but it's a big factor. It affects you massively. But likewise, now that I'm in a new job and I've been in that job for a fair few months now, I've started exercising more. So that's like the other new thing, because it's a job where I'm just sat at a desk. I've never had a job like that before, and I'm like, I need to do stuff, otherwise I'm going to end up, you know, with like bad hips and bad back and things like that, just from being sat at a desk all day, because it's 12-hour shifts, so it's a lot to have to just sit at. And I've found that my blood sugar has got worse again, and it's gradually improving again. But it's so much easier for me to see what's happening, and if it's going up or it just looks like it's high and it's coming back down, I can see it, so I can do corrections and not be like, am I dicing with death? Am I just playing a little game? I can do that, which is so much better, you know, to see that it's not about the number in the moment, it's about where the numbers go in, which is fantastic. It's amazing. It's brilliant. Yeah.
What exercise are you doing out of interest?
It's low impact exercise. I'm doing stuff like Ring Fit and like, you know, like a little bit like running, that kind of thing. I'm not doing, I'm not looking to, you know, look like Arnold Schwarzenegger by the time I'm done. I just don't want to be sat down all day at work and then come home and be sat down for like 2 days on the days off. And, you know, so it's just to keep me a bit more active, so that I'm a bit healthier. Because I have noticed stuff like, if I'm like, you know, bending down to pick something up off the floor, I'm like, sweet Jesus, give me 20 minutes. I need like 20 minutes to get back up now. And it's only because I'm sat down all day, I'm not doing anything anymore.
Yeah.
And I used to be, you know, picking stock off shelves and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's very different. But yeah.
In terms of, what about your data? So your diabetes health. Have you had a HbA1c since you moved to a CGM?
No.
You know if that's changed. You've not had one yet. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't had an HbA1c for maybe 2 years, because I've not been invited to get one. I think I had a foot check a year and a half ago, something like that. And that was the last thing that I really saw anybody for. I just get little phone calls and stuff. And obviously, you know, if you troll back a couple of months through my Twitter, those haven't been great. So yeah, it's no, I'm not really having any interaction with anybody about my diabetes management at the minute. I'm just being left to it and then being told it's not good enough. But
Yeah.
we'll see. As we're coming out of like having to isolate and having to distance and having less people in GPs and stuff like that, I think obviously we'll get more back to people being seen more, which, you know, it's a double-edged sword. It's good for that. It's bad for your interaction level with other people that you don't need to be interacting with, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah. Do you pay any attention to the estimated A1C on your CGM? Do you check that? Is that something you can
yeah, I haven't had a look at it in a little while because I was quite mad the last time that I looked at it and had a discussion about it, because the last time that anybody spoke to me about it, it's a new company that I'm now under the care of, and I was told that because my time in target, so my time in the green zone, was less than 70%, that my diabetes management was a joke. So I've kind of not looked at that, because it really made me angry, and every time I look at what my data is in terms of that sort of stuff, it makes me furious that somebody assumes that they can speak to me like that. And they, I think at this point, are fully aware that they can't speak to me like that now. And I haven't had a conversation with any of those people since. So yeah,
that's going to be, I think that might be a conversation in the next podcast when we talk about complaining and what's happened there, because I think we've all had a little issue or two lately, to say the least.
You haven't you, with Paul, with on Twitter, with all your blogs and that, if people have followed, you've been on a little kind of pump journey, haven't you, but have had to fight.
Yeah,
I'm really sorry if you can hear the cat. I'm really sorry.
it's fine. We saw the tail. There was like a little it's fine. Yes, I've had a little pump journey, but I think most people that are going to watch this are going to know. But it took 6 months and multiple consultations and a chat with an MP and an MP's office and a CCG commissioner, and just a long saga to get NHS Pump Funding, which still looks like it's going to happen, but it hasn't been confirmed. The last appointment I had was positive in that way, and the consultant indicated that he's going to put me forward for pump funding, that if I was turning up as a new patient to him today, he would say I should be on a pump. So it looks like that will happen, but it's just a question of waiting. And we had a conversation about timescales, and to him, it wasn't a question of money, it wasn't a question of financing it, it was staff, that they don't have enough pump nurses to get people on these pumps faster than is happening now. So it could be a question of summertime for me, unless there's a cancellation in between times. So it's just, I'm just going to have to wait.
So the delay isn't down to getting approval or anything for your pump. That they think that's going to be quite straightforward. It's the fact that they don't have the staff to train you on the pump and get you started.
Yeah, in this instance, I mean, the conversations before with consultant number one and consultant number two were not the same. Their denials were based upon other things. Number one said my A1C was too good and was going to put me on that, and just go and do a Daphne course, you know, get out of the office, go and do a Daphne course. Number two said there's a lot of people in Leicester that are ahead of me in the queue, so to speak, in terms of their urgency to be on a pump, and they need to chase those people up and get them on a pump, but of course they don't have the staff to do that quickly. And the latest one has basically said similar to that they don't have the staff at the moment, but I should be put on a pump, and he's going to put me on the list to be on a pump, I hope. But it's just a question of waiting. It's not finance for him. It didn't seem like a finance or money thing. It just seems that they don't have the nurses, the staff in the pump.
It probably isn't a money thing though. I think because I think it's the same principle. Obviously, it's much more technical, and you know, the things that you will have to learn are things that you do need somebody there to teach you. But I think it's the same as when I went onto my CGM. They dragged it out for about 6 months from saying, look, maybe you should go on a CGM, it might help you a little bit. They dragged it out because I had to do an online course, I had to do all of these training workshops and things like that to effectively scan something on my phone, that when I was asking questions, I knew more of the answers than the person that I was asking the questions to did, because it's something that I deal with every day and they don't. Like, so some of it is probably that as well. You'll have like delays because there's that one person there that is like you or like Jules or like me, who actually knows what's going on and is asking those questions, and it pushes everybody else back, not in a negative way because it's pushing them back, but obviously it pushes everybody back, but because this person who is doing the training has no idea, so they can't tell you, and then it pushes them back, and then you only have those 2 nurses in that area that can do it. One of them's working flat out to get all these people that don't care just through the system and onto these things, and then the other one, you know, alternating, because, you know, they'll both do the same thing, but the other one's like constantly just going, oh, I don't know, I'll have to find out, and then 2 weeks later, when they've got a response from somebody that knows, they can come back to you. So it's kind of, it's a lot of it will be that sort of stuff where they're like, oh yeah, it'll be summertime, yeah, because they've got maybe 60 people in front of you in the queue, and they could get 5 of those through every week. It wouldn't be that big of a deal for you to be in a couple of months' time on a pump, but there's always the delays of people going, well, what if, what about this, what about this, what about this sort of pump, like what, you know, the people like us that ask the questions, which makes it easier for the people after us, but it absolutely slows it down for everybody in the meantime.
Yeah.
So
I think it'll get better in terms of speed and access. I mean, it looks like CGM Access is just going to be a thing later this year, and if you want to be on it, you can be on it. I think a lot of people are now anyway, aren't they? Is it something like 60% type 1s have got?
I think most type 1s are, and there's talks of type 2 going on as well, and like obviously there's some people that struggle a little bit more management wise on type 2, I think, that are already like being suggested to be put forward for it, and it's just catching up with the queues of people effectively, and that's what it is, isn't it? So
well,
yeah,
I think you've discovered, Harvey, since moving on to tech, that maybe it wasn't something you fancied in the first instance, and just like, yeah, it might be a little overwhelming when I go on to this, but maybe you discovered it's not quite as dominant in your life as you might have imagined. It's just there, and it helps you when you want it to help you. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when I was so resistant to it being a thing for me, it's because I thought I would be interacting with it much more, but because I know what's going on, I interact with it less, because I can foresee something and fix it earlier. I don't have to deal with it as much, which isn't something that I thought would be the thing that happened, if you know what I mean. So yeah, it's
cool. So that's the boys and their tech.
Yeah.
I think Your Majesty, you're still on the same tech, aren't you, that you've always been on?
Yeah.
But it's been a slight, do we call it a tech development in terms of GBDoc, and the website and the new GBDoc accounts that have been dotted about on Twitter and Facebook has even got a logo now and activity seemingly, and Insta. There's kind of, is it coming together, that sort of thing now, GBDoc? Is it becoming a more...
Yeah, it's starting to, some of the accounts are more popular than others. Like we've got the GBDoc info account, which is like the overall account. And then coming off of that, we've got the tweet chat. Then we've got fantasy football. We've got the quiz, that's every 4 weeks. And then there's the Stitch Club. And there may well be a book club, but we need people obviously to run these accounts. And at the moment we've got about 5 or 6 people, and like we've got 2 people like off sick at the moment, so 4 people, it's not enough to cover it. So there's, you know, work that needs doing on the Facebook account, and there's work that needs doing on the Instagram account, things like that. So yeah, we're looking to maybe get more people on board with we call them, or we call ourselves, community volunteers, because we're not leaders or any of that nonsense. We don't see ourselves as that. We're just community volunteers, just to try to facilitate these things for people, and it all seems to work out and a bit of fun. But then we did launch the website. One of our volunteers' sons, Charlie, he basically built the website for us, did a great job, fantastic job. And so that's like brings everything together, and there's a calendar on there and things like that, so we can put events up. So it's like the structure is almost in place, we just need the staff, and then we just need to populate everything. But it's more cohesive now, it's much more together. So yeah, that's what I've been trying to do since we last met.
That's been quite a big that's been quite a big change to the whole GBDoc community as such, hasn't it? It used to just be sort of focused on the tweet chat account, which is good and still is good and popular, but now it seems to be a little bit more ordered. I think is that a better way of saying that? I'll put a link down below to the website. It's gbdoc.uk. Yeah, I think. I'll double check. We'll put a link down there, and I think there's a calendar, and there's some photos and some cool stuff just to pass a bit of time. And I think at some point there's been discussion of maybe having some sort of formal peer support, mentor type thing going on as well, which we might get to at some point in the future. Yeah. So I think that'll be a cool thing to have, because peer support seems to be such a big thing now on Twitter, not just in GBDoc, but all of the diabetes online communities have sort of underlined the importance of it and how good people have found that to be. Yeah. So I guess it's something we might engage with.
Absolutely.
It's just a question of time, and those that know me know that I'm not a morning person. I'm not a very technical person, and I'm not very organized. So those 3 things together really don't help. But I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to get there. It doesn't help as well that my MS meds have been stopped because I had quite a serious allergic reaction to them. So at the moment, I'm on nothing. So my energy is very low.
So what happened with the MS meds? Is that okay to talk about in this one?
Yeah, it's weird. It's not diabetes related, but I'd been having 4 weekly infusions for 7 years. I'd had 85 infusions, and on my 86th infusion, I had a massive allergic reaction. I just went really red and hot, and then my face started swelling up, and it was just all, there were doctors everywhere to try and sort it out, and I was given steroids and I don't know what into the vein, and yeah, it was all a bit of a shock, really. And apparently you can develop allergies at any time. So even though I've had it for so long, you'd have thought I'd been okay, but I've developed an allergy to this. And they just said, right, that's it. There's no way we're gonna risk putting you back on it, even if it was in a different form. They're just not going to do it. So I need to wait something like 8 weeks, and I think I'm on about week 6 of it like totally being out of my system before they can think of doing something else. So yeah, I'm running on empty at the moment, but that's fine. I can manage. I can cope. Just means that some of the GBDoc stuff has to wait a little while. That's all. And then since I last saw you guys, there's been a few things. Obviously, the main thing is that I've got curly hair. I've got really hair, yeah. And it's bizarre, and it's really funny because I'm talking to men about my hair as if you'll be interested. And Paul's also part of that conversation, who's got no hair. So I know that he won't be interested at all. But I got, because I'm heat intolerant, last summer, I just I couldn't cope with the hairdryer, because normally, I just straighten it and dry it normally. And I just left it and thought, it really doesn't matter. I'm not seeing anyone, because I was isolating, I think, at the time. We're not seeing anyone, it doesn't matter. And then when I looked in the mirror, it was like, oh my God, my hair's curly. I never knew my hair was this curly. I never knew. It was bizarre. And I was like, do you know, I quite like this. So this is natural curls, and I don't have to straighten it all the time, and I don't have to have the hairdryer out all the time. I just wash and go. It's awesome. So yeah, that's major news. And then I also turned 50, and I had 15 days of birthday celebrations. One of which was, we had a bit of a GBDoc meetup. There were some people, it wasn't a general, everybody please come to my birthday thing. It was just like a few people, because it was still, well, yeah, it was still lockdown and everything, and having to be careful. So we just met in a park and, like, bought our own sandwiches and stuff. And I met the Julie Tickle. She was the one that came the furthest. She came down, and that was really lovely to meet her, because that's the first time I'd met her. And there's Carolyn Murray, who helps. She's one of the community volunteers on GBDoc. Flipper, she came. Kate was there with Arlo, who's very well known on Twitter, particularly when he gets his hair cut, and they're just like, looks like they cut his ears off, and he looks so sad. And Abby came. Abby and Florence came. Oh, and Paul came. Sorry, yeah, Paul was there.
I was lurking about.
You were, yeah. So anyway, that was really nice. And I had loads of, it was brilliant. But then as soon as I turned 50, I then got told I've got osteoarthritis, particularly in my hips. So I've had to have steroid injections in my hips because I am now officially old. And then I got a letter saying that I've got diabetic maculopathy. Yeah, because I'm old, I guess. So I've turned 50 and the rest of my health has just gone to, I can't say that, poop. It's gone to poop. Mm-hmm.
To be fair, once I turned 30, I got my letter saying you've got diabetic retinopathy. So I was like, great, just a new era for diabetes.
Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic, right?
Yeah, you'll be pleased to know that with each decade that you pass, Harvey, the list gets longer of
like a little score sheet. You go
Yeah.
through it. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I love it. Gotta love it.
My friends joke and say that I'm trying to do like the whole alphabet of of conditions and illnesses and stuff.
Absolutely.
So I've just like 3 of them in one go happened. It was great.
This happens when you get to sort of the latter stages of youth, when you edge into middle age, as maybe you're nearly there, Julie. Maybe in a few years you'll hit middle age. That latter stage of youth, things start falling off and not working anymore. That's just life, isn't it? That's a good point. When you do hit a new decade, like Harvey said, when I hit my 30s, got a new thing that happens to me with the shoulder in my 40s. Now it's happened to you hitting 50. Got some new stuff. It's all good, isn't it, as you get older?
It's fantastic. Absolutely love it.
But I'm still me and trying to find the positives and living my best life. It's all good.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's what it's all about.
These things happen. It's life, isn't it? You'll do well to live a life and not get an illness or a condition or need some sort of medical care. It's just life. Okay.
There is one more thing that happened.
Go on, quick.
Just to quickly say is obviously since we last met, we lost Queenie. Queenie passed away. And I've looked back, and maybe some of the viewers would like to look back on the podcast that we did with her. And yeah, if you're looking for inspiration, Queenie was brilliant inspiration. Fantastic woman, very much missed.
Absolutely.
But I'm glad that I got to know her.
I will put links down below. There's 2 podcasts to Queenie's conversation with us. They're going to be down there as well. On a personal note, I used to speak to Queenie quite a lot, and she seemed to always have my back. And especially when it came to pumping, she knew that I'd just started this pumping thing. And she basically said I would sit in the clinic until they call the police, unless they put me on pump. So she gave me that advice, and I didn't quite go that far, but I kind of understood what she meant, that, don't take no's. Never take a no. If you know what you need in life, then just shoot that. And I think maybe that's how she lived her life.
Yeah.
Absolutely. She was there for everybody. She was an amazing person. If you just had a complaint, you just wanted to have a bit of a rant, like I do quite a lot on Twitter, you'd always get like a private message saying, don't fucking take that. It was great. Like, she was always the person that was just like, yeah, do you know what? I've actually heard you. I've heard you speak. I've heard what you said, and I'm there if you want to chat about it. She was just that person. She was that person that was there for everybody. It didn't matter who you were, what was going on. She was absolutely fantastic. It's such a shame. Like, I miss her being on Twitter.
Yeah.
every day because she was always hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She had a great sense of humour. She was part of the GBDoc community volunteers as well. So I think as a team, we do miss her very much. But
Yeah, I think many people do.
and our lives are better for knowing her.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, shall we call this one a day? And then
I think so.
maybe we'll be back soon with another one, sooner than you imagine, I think. We might all have the same clothes on as well. I think we're going to talk
Or
about...
maybe we'll skip them.
Maybe we'll what? Maybe we'll swap clothes. What? What sort of video is this?
Jules got confused. She thought she was in one of her swingers parties again.
Yeah, sorry.
Easily done. Yeah, we might all be in the same attire. I don't know what Jules is going to change into in the next few minutes, but we might all be. Who knows? You'll see. But thanks for watching. Tune into the next one. Let's see what Jules has got on, and like, comment, hit the notification bell, all that stuff down below, and it all helps out. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.